I worked for MTN in the marketing department itself. Currently working for Zanaco as well as the head of marketing for Zanaco. Strong passion for marketing and everything, every component and every element of marketing. In fact, even at MTN, I deliberately visited different elements of marketing just so I get a broader understanding of it, from product design, business intelligence, events, media, and so on. And that's actually given me like a good background, which I use now. And I'm also an advocate for almost everything that's digital and tech, because I think that actually improves our lives. So I'm a marketer and a huge advocate for the future. Looking at saying, okay, let's allocate more resources towards the moving away from traditional channels, go more into digital channels in the future, in 2025. For instance, you mentioned like what's to come in terms of customer experience. So looking at next couple of months getting into a chatbot service, for example. And if you're looking at the mass market, they may not even be willing or even know their way around the chatbot. So there is that bit where you're saying you have customers who are who have not pretty much moved with the times, and then there are those who actually moved with the times. But you have to cater to both because there's still your customers. So I think for us, there's that transition to say, okay, we have to cater for the future, those who are forward thinking, looking towards the future. But then there's also the customers also that we know then are also kind of then being left behind during this new digital era. And we have to then make sure we actually accommodate them as well through our various touch points. So it's kind of a mixture of both. So you're kind of pulling one and then dragging the other. But I think eventually we will get to a point where we are all on the same page. And that's a very good question, because we have put in a few. If you're looking at even just the customer experience team, you're looking at the contact center. We've outsourced a bit of the contact center to a third party who's able to take that magnitude of calls that actually do come in. So we know then if customers are being served from outside the normal touch points, and you're looking at more alternate channels, more digital channels, your internet banking, cell phone banking, there may be issues that may come around. And also because while you're going through this transition, there is a lot of learning that's coming about. So we know people are going to call, going to reach out to the organization. So we outsourced a bit of it to actually help support that function, and that's actually working to our advantage and to the customer's advantage as well. And also recently we actually grouped all our social media platforms into one system. So what that allows is whenever someone then reaches out to us via Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, Instagram, it all feeds into one channel. So even from the agent's point of view, you don't have to go through various channels in order for you to find out what's going on. It'll tell you the channel, pick out the conversation, you're able to respond right there and then in real time. So I think that's been very good for us and the customer, and we're looking at actually implementing more. And for digital channels, it's more about the usage, which is also the nature that the team that's managing those particular elements is keeping those channels well, and they're being served in order for us to actually service the customer. So there has been a huge percentage increase in terms of the use of our digital channels, your internet banking, your cell phone banking, your card usage as well, because people are taking into account, okay, there's COVID, but not only COVID aside, people have begun to realize that, I actually can buy more time if I don't go to the branch. So COVID has been negative, but then it's also brought this element of people then valuing more of their life, valuing more of time. So it's all about how can I then use alternate channels to improve my life. So even from our end, we're looking at making sure those channels actually do work. We're looking at giving feedback. We're looking at getting feedback from the customers as well, and servicing those channels. So for me, there are quite a number of elements that I'll bring out. I think if you're looking at even just both customer experience and the marketing side, we are our plan is to go more digital, because then every human being we have our own limitations. We have lives, but if you're looking at robotics, you're looking at artificial intelligence, you're looking at chatbots, for example. That's a different dynamic altogether. That's a different era altogether. How do we move from the normal brick and mortar structure of customer experience onto the digital structure of customer experience, which involves and allows you to even bank using WhatsApp, allows you to bank using Facebook, allows you to pick up queries, has got artificial intelligence that actually learns as well. So if there's a query that's been dealt with the day before that was not there, it's able to pick it up and actually apply it to the next customer that is querying the next day. So smart designs, smart artificial intelligence that actually does need to come in. So in the next couple of months, we will be rolling out a chatbot soon that we hoping to embed all these features. We've also been revamping our app as well. The Zanaco app, we revamped it in 2018. Some upgrades will be coming as well. We also revamped our corporate internet banking as well as individual internet banking, just to give you that experience on its own. But like I mentioned, for us, we're more or less going towards the digital future tech. If you really want to know what people are thinking about your product or service or brand, just put it on Facebook. In Zambia, put it on Twitter, and you're going to the voice of the customer is going to be loud. And you're able to tell from comments whether it's good or bad. I think it just comes now into how do you apply that into your business. So I think one thing that I've actually noticed, even in Zambia, especially in Zambia, is that we're getting a lot of information to do with voice of the customer. But I think where the gap is now is kind of getting that information and transforming it and actually creating a plan for it to respond to the customer. So there's the voice of the customer, but then what comes next? Are you responding to that voice of the customer? How are you responding to that voice? What are you actually doing about it? Well, thoughts on omnichannels, first of all, I think there's no other way of surviving in today's world without an omnichannel structure. I think various touch points, you interact with almost with a brand from different elements, be it service center or branch or digital. And digital now, some companies are even going as far as TikTok. So that actually is it. You're looking at your point of sale for banks. You're looking at your ATM, whether it's deposit taking or non-deposit taking. You're looking at your mobile banking, internet banking. So branches as well. So the channels for us are quite vast. Even just the customer experience point of view, those touch points, be it a call center, be it an SMS, an email, are various touch points. So one, already dealing with it internally to make sure that we're all on the same page from a cultural point of view. Like we've spoken about, say, like let's actually be customer centric, customer focused. Let's be innovative, let's be creative. But then that also then goes into what tone are we then applying across? What kind of experience should a customer be getting across? And thank goodness the reports that we get, we're able to see where those gaps are and actually fix them. We've also created, and the process of still creating, kind of a touch point that is able to show, like, okay, Anne visited an ATM in Woodlands and then interacted with a branch here in Kablonga and then did internet banking and software banking, and it's able to rate and see what was your overall experience on each channel. How much time did you spend on each channel? And what does that actually mean? Because then if you're spending too much time on an ATM, then there's a problem because we're chewing into your time, and that shouldn't be the case. So for us, for time across, we're revamping as well to make sure, okay, let's make sure that the experience across all the channels is seamless. As far as the business and marketing is also part of the business. There's been actually drastic changes, and you'd find that we were focusing on a strategy that was targeted at 2025, and now we had to pretty much reshape and remodel everything for it to fit into the current year, now being 2021. And we started to do that last year in 2020. So I think just across top down the entire organization, and even just within the marketing team, there's been a huge shift in terms of strategy. Looking at our customers more and more now, feedback from customers, and even just the focus on the customers. And also us just realizing and knowing that they have also evolved during this time. It's been also a hectic 1-2 years for them as well. So the customer that we were dealing with at the beginning of 2020 is not the customer that you're dealing with today. So just understanding and getting the insights from those customers, and also making sure that then we are able to cater to them. So within the business itself, we've also been remodeling, and we're looking at a few things. We've got a chief information officer right now who looks at the IT component of things, and that does help, because again, where we are going, IT plays a huge role in the marketing. Customer experience does as well, but you need the right tools and the right systems in order for you to actually get there. So I think from our end, like I mentioned with the strategy as well, we've already shaped that a little bit, but also the way that we're actually doing business, it's also changing, and we're actually just trying to accommodate the needs and wants of our customers from the inside out. Internally, we've actually reshaped and remodeled our values within the bank. And one of the values that's coming out very strong is actually customer centricity. So that's one thing that wasn't put in terms of it being upfront. It was there, but somehow hidden in one of the values as one of the core elements. But now it's out there. It's bold. It's loud. It's in front of all employees, and employees are being tasked to actually take it on. We had a campaign that was internal that was just naming all these new values that were actually coming out, and customer centricity is one big element that actually comes in. And we're saying, following these values, following what we believe in, we'll be able to serve the customer better. And not only doing things right, you need to be responding to your customer. And responding does not mean when they raise a query on Facebook, you respond, take it down. They call you and you answer within 2-3 seconds. It's about getting customers' feedback and making sure that as your brand, because a brand is always transitioning, and a brand is always transitioning because human beings are always growing. They grow every day. So through that transition, you need to make sure that you have your core foundation for your brand, what your values are, what you're here to deliver. But there's little elements of it that you're able to tweak to make sure that you survive, and to make sure that you actually survive through your customer, because that's the only way businesses do survive. So even for us, as we go, we're actually taking the feedback quite serious, and we're actually applying it into the way that we do business. And it's not a situation where we're saying, let's do it next year. It's things that we say, can we actually start next week? What are the short-term, long-term plans? Yes, and that cuts across all channels. So it's something that we're actually taking pretty serious. Yeah, that's one thing organizations actually miss out on. And I applaud every organization that has got brand and customer experience within the same department, under the same leader, because they are really joined. You need to actually feed that into the customer experience. You can't have a brand walk into a service center and then the agent is giving you like a down moment, or it's a bad experience. That's not your life. You have to walk in there feeling bad and come out feeling good. Same applies to Zanaco as well. We make sure that whatever we're actually driving from the customer experience end is also complemented by the marketing bit, and vice versa. I mentioned the different channels that we actually use. There's the tone that we actually use with our customers on different platforms, whether it be it Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and so on, that represent the bank. How do you actually speak to your customers? How do you address them? What colors are you using and when? So even just from your end, if there's a very bold color that's out there that speaks to you as a high-value customer, it's easier for you to relate, as opposed to it being maybe something that's a little bit more on the playful side. So just the small elements that people don't even think about, we have to then think about how are we addressing the customer, from the color, from the look, from the feel. If you look at Zanaco's branches as well, since 2018, revamping the branches to best fit our customers, and there's been that improvement in the look, the feel, the design, because we're saying we're forward thinking, we're the partner for growth, and we're saying Zambia is our home, and you take care of your home. And who are the people who we share a home with is the Zambian people. So we're saying this is our home, let's take care of our home together. So we're combining that element of brand and combining that element of customer experience.